My wife wasn't pregnant yesterday, but she's due any moment now. Emily and I have been married for 4 years. We'd been trying for a baby for most of that time with no success. Doctors couldn't find anything wrong with either of us. They just said to keep trying. Still, every negative test chipped away at us. At me. So when Emily told me yesterday morning she was pregnant, I froze. She stood there in the kitchen holding her belly with one hand and a cup of tea in the other. Her stomach wasn't small, it looked swollen, round, like she was already several months along. "Are you okay?" she asked, tilting her head with a curious smile. "You've barely said a word." "How?" I stammered. "How far along are you?" Emily laughed like it was a ridiculous question. "I told you, silly. We're due any day now. You've been nesting like crazy these past few weeks. Did you not sleep well last night?" Her words felt like ice water on my skin. I couldn't remember the last time we'd tried for a baby. Yet here she was, glowing maternal, talking about our baby like it was an undeniable fact. I didn't go to work that day. I couldn't. I spent most of it in our bedroom, trying to piece things together, trying to remember something, anything that could explain this. Then the nursery door caught my eye. We didn't have a nursery. The room down the hall had always been a spare room, cluttered with old furniture and boxes of forgotten junk. But when I pushed the door open, I was greeted by soft pastels, tiny stuffed animals, and a crib in the corner. "Doesn't it feel real now?" she asked without turning around. Her voice was calm, soothing, but the words sent a shiver through me. "I told you everything would work out." "What is this?" I whispered. "Emily, what's going on?" She turned to me then, her smile widening in a way that didn't quite reach her eyes. "I told you, sweetheart. We're having a baby." That night I couldn't sleep. Emily snored softly beside me, her hand resting protectively over her stomach. I stared at the ceiling, my chest tightening with every breath. Something was wrong. I didn't know how or why, but I could feel it in my bones. This wasn't normal. This wasn't real. At 3:12 a.m., I woke to a faint sound. It was coming from the nursery, a soft, rhythmic creaking, like the rocking chair being moved back and forth. I didn't want to look. I told myself to stay in bed, to close my eyes and pretend I hadn't heard anything. But my body moved on its own, dragging me out of bed and down the hall. The nursery door was ajar, the light spilling onto the carpet. I pushed it open and my breath caught in my throat. The crib wasn't empty. Inside was something small. Wrapped tightly in a blanket, its head was oddly misshapen, its skin pale and waxy like an overripe fruit. It didn't cry or move. It just lay there, motionless, as if it was waiting for me to notice it. Behind me, Emily's voice broke the silence. "It's early," she said softly, "but they're perfect, don't you think?" I turned slowly. She was standing in the doorway, her face calm, serene, but her eyes gleamed with something foreign, something that wasn't my wife. "Emily," I whispered,